Hello and welcome to the evolution of my D&D campaign, Fiona. Today we're going to talk about, upside down, mimics. This is by far my favorite creature in D&D to run. The mimic, as you can tell, I have one of these fancy monster cards, though I usually use the monster manual. Okay. Well, my mimics are a little different from how you expect regular D&D monsters to run. There's a special prize at the end for defeating one of my mimics. If you can defeat a mimic, which you can easily defeat, you get a special item that it drops. Now, that item could be anything. It could be gold, it could be a regular item, but usually most mimics in my world drop magical items. And when one of my players says, "Hey, when are we expecting legendary items?" I told them, that depends on how many mimics you guys kill. So they continuously go on mimic hunts. Then occasionally I put mimics where I want to. I have been told I have an obsession with these. I'm not the only person, of course, and as my world is a Soulsborne world, and in Dark Souls, there's a lot of mimics. No, not every treasure chest that I put out there is a mimic, and I try to make sure, just as the original concept of I got my ideas from, not every treasure chest is a mimic in Dark Souls, and they make sure not to make you too cautious or not to be too lenient. And sometimes everyone just hits treasure chests at every point just to make sure they're not a mimic at this point when they're playing Dark Souls. That's how I get how they do it in my campaign as well. Also, they have come to the point where I've made sure that, hitting a treasure chest can be a bad idea too, because the one time they hit a treasure chest and I rolled, come on, no kitty, no, it's not time to lay on the laptop. Anyway, as I was saying, come on. As I was saying, they've hit a treasure chest pretty hard, I might say, and I had to roll. I rolled a percentile dice, and it was a critical failure on them hitting the treasure chest. So the treasure chest broke, and I described, "You have rubbish." And rubbish is technically Dark Souls 3 useless item. It's not. It's something that you can't really use. It's not something you can. It's not something you can use, or it's something that you can sell really often. It doesn't fetch a good price. It's just rubbish. And they're like, "What? Well, yeah. Don't try hitting a treasure chest in my world and expecting it to be okay, especially when you do a lot of damage to something that shouldn't have a lot of HP." But I know the mimic doesn't have too many attacks. It doesn't have that much, but I just love the mimic. That comes to the history of back in the day when I was playing a certain game and a piano ate me. So up until that point, I didn't even know what a mimic was until that piano ate me. But after that, I'm like, what is this? And so then I started playing Dark Souls, and I found out what a mimic is. So, mimics are one of my favorite creatures to run D&D. They are a staple in my game, and I'm pretty sure everyone has their own favorite creature. I've made it to a point to also run some undead. I run a lot of stuff. I run a lot of skeletons. I ran some zombies. I ran some whites. I put in the first session of my D&D campaign, which it would be quite a video, which I'll have to make another video about. Didn't it ended up how I expected it to end up, and it was. That's the other thing about my campaign. I tried to make it as fun as possible for my players, because when they're having fun, I'm having fun. So when they're having fun, I'm having fun. So yeah, so I try to make the game as fun as possible. I try to make sure that everyone gets what they want or what they need, and I also try to keep a story into it. I try to still get a story through them having fun, and it works for us because we've players I've played with, we've played for about a couple of years. We know each other, so if something we pick up each other, and we do that in all the games we play together. I'm just running one game. Several of them run other different types of games, and I am in their games as well. So here's a tip: play with somebody that you know and you can get a good continuity with, someone and play with them for a while. Let there be flow. Let there be a continuity. If you let them know what your weaknesses are and know what their weaknesses are, let them know what your strengths are, and you can easily figure out what their strengths are. But and that's how you can be a great player, and that's how you can be a great GM, and and work together as a team, not try to argue about certain situations that are going on, and not try to take over the campaign for yourself. That's a no-no. You don't want to do that. That just makes the party even worse. And I'll cut to another video about a certain player that I used to play with who no longer plays in any of our games because of the way his behavior was. That video will come up as well. I have a lot of videos I want to create for you guys, but right now I just want to focus on D&D. All of my videos for now will be D&D, basically. And I might do some Let's Plays, or I'll do a stream of a video game at some point. Stay tuned for that, give me some info. But what I like about this guy right here, he can be any creature, any item in your world, basically. I prefer treasure chests. It's Dark Souls and Bloodborne. So, my favorite monster, the Mimic. How to use it? Everywhere. Here is my tip. When I put the treasure chest down, every treasure chest in my mind is a mimic. Don't tell my players that, but that's how I think. Every treasure chest I put in a map is a mimic. All that makes it not a mimic is a dice roll. So a treasure chest in my world starts out as a mimic. And after a dice roll, then it determines, well, guess what? It's a treasure chest. So, and that's my favorite monster. Come back later and I'll have some info about some areas in my world and other other wonderful stories of D&D. So that's about it for this video. Remember to hit that like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell, and until next time, see you later.